Are there some problematic Sims YouTubers?
It was you!
Is Life by You the successor to The Sims 3?
Deadass.
And what the hell is going on with the Sims franchise? I hope you all are doing okay. This is gonna be sort of a laid-back podcast-style video. FYI, I'm an absolute wreck. I currently have the Cornova.
Don't be afraid of Cornova.
It's my first time. Finally popped that COVID cherry. I think I'm okay, but if you don't know, I live here in South Korea, and Korea still has a mandatory quarantine or isolation or whatever for people who test positive. So legally, I cannot leave my house. I got a message. It was like, if you leave your house, your life is over, basically. I think I'll be fined. I don't know. So even if I wanted to wear a mask and go for a walk at the park, which I sort of desperately need, I can't do that. And I understand why, but anyway. Hence the Cornova rants of today's video. I feel like The Sims is at a really pivotal moment, and I have a lot to say about that, but before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me be messy for a moment.
We're messy.
As we approach what I think is like the 70th paid DLC for The Sims 4, I have a question. At what point are we going to start questioning the ethics of Simmers, particularly ones here on YouTube? So given my own personal insight into how AdSense works, I know for a fact that there are a lot of YouTubers who earn hella coin from making Sims 4 videos. But this is a game created by a company that undoubtedly takes advantage of the player base. So to the Sims 4 YouTubers out there, how's that moral compass looking? How can you continue to make videos hyping up the upteenth DLC for a game created by a company that is very clearly exploiting its player base? When do we start holding these content creators accountable? And I'm not talking about, the Sims YouTubers who are out here giving their 2 cents, who aren't afraid to criticize EA, criticize the content they're releasing. I'm not talking about those folks. I think they're doing a great service to this community. I'm more so talking about the people who are always feeding into the hype and rarely have anything negative or critical to say. I know we all have to survive. I know we have to support ourselves. I get that. But I think there has to be a limit to what we, the players, accept. Not just from the company that creates the game, but also from these content creators who are essentially the marketing team for The Sims. So here's what I have to say. Even if I did make content for The Sims 4, and even if that content did well enough and got enough views, I would feel like a total piece of shit for hyping up this game. Again, we're on the 70th DLC for The Sims 4, and it's not just about the 70 DLC, it's about the fact that the DLC is often lacking, it's glitchy, it's downright broken, and sometimes it's never even fixed. So, I'm sorry, I would just not feel okay with myself if I did that. And honestly, I feel like I would be doing a huge disservice to the people who watch my videos.
Period. Dot.
But on the flip side, there are some incredibly talented and insightful content creators here on YouTube who make videos about The Sims, whether it's, Let's Plays or challenges or talking points or whatever it might be. So if you're looking for some Sims YouTubers, click on the channels tab under my channel page and you'll see several of the channels I follow, and I definitely recommend them. And I'm sure there's plenty more out there that I don't even know about yet. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the current state of the Sims franchise. They have certainly tried to turn The Sims 4 into what feels like, or is supposed to feel like, a true, honest, to the core Sims game. And maybe you all don't agree with me, and that's okay, but I am going to say this because this is how I honestly feel. I think The Sims 4 is a good game.
Okay.
If you don't look at The Sims 4 as The Sims 4, aka the 4th installment in the Sims franchise, it's a solid game. So they've definitely tried, and we appreciate that effort, but it's never going to be as good as the previous games. But believe me there are people out there who do think The Sims 4 is the best in the franchise. I have to assume that they have not played the other games, and when I have seen that, it's usually followed by, oh, the older games just look so dated, the graphics, I just can't get into it. And to that I say, well, yeah, when you play older games, usually the graphics don't look modern. Show me any game from, Sims 3 came out in 2009. Show me any game from 15 years ago that looks modern. Believe it or not, for some people, the graphics are not the most important thing about a game. And even today, there's games that are released that have like pixel graphics or really distinct art styles. Does that mean that those games are not enjoyable or that the graphics somehow overshadow the great gameplay? There's a lot more important stuff to a game than looking pretty. So what about The Sims 4 of today? Well, there's like 70 packs, which I still cannot get over, and I cannot for the life of me get over the fact that people are still asking for more. I seriously want to shake them and be like, what is wrong with you? Why are you asking for more packs? 70 DLC, that's absurd. And unfortunately, according to YouTube and Reddit, people still want more. They're hungry for more kits, folks. Just recently, EA was like, please vote for what you want the next build by, create a sim pack to be. And it was like, you can have medieval clothes or you can have the futuristic or some gothic shit. And people were like, oh my god, I need that in my game. I'm gonna die if the gothic medieval baddie kit doesn't win. And I honestly just feel like this is a cult. And y'all are paying your tithe to the EA gods. As much as I want to go in on EA and blame them for everything, it's also the players' fault too, because people are very clearly still getting hype for it and they're still buying the packs, they're still asking for more, and my question is, to what end? And if I were EA right now, I might be thinking to myself like, hey, is it smart to continue creating so many packs and releasing DLC when we have Project Renee coming out? And I don't know how willing consumers are going to be to purchase a brand new game that will inevitably have dozens more DLC when they've already spent hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars on The Sims 4. I have already seen people online being like, I'm not going to buy Project Renee or The Sims 5 because I've already spent so much money on The Sims 4. But more on this later. Honestly, it's really sad to see what the Sims franchise has come to. Earlier, I mentioned Life by You, and I'm really excited for it, but I don't expect it to be like a Sims game. I think it will feel very different. However, I think it'll be different in a very good way. It seems like in Life by You, players are going to have more control over the entire town. And if we compare that to a game like The Sims 4, where you're pretty much just focused on one household, I think Life by You will have more of a god perspective, where you have full control over anything and everything. That sounds super appealing, and I want to take this moment to talk briefly about what I've heard a bit online, which is people saying Life by You is the spiritual successor to The Sims 3. I even saw this Reddit post recently where someone asked a pretty good question, and I think it was something along the lines of, does Life by You mean the end of The Sims 3? So I think The Sims 3 has its own unique charm, and it's an amazing game. I certainly love it. Once I got it to run well, there was no stopping me, you know? It's such a fun game. But I don't think Life by You is going to be similar to The Sims 3 in any way, other than the fact that they both have open worlds and cars and detailed customization options. That being said, what I'm super excited about with Life by You is what appears to be the depth of gameplay, which is really what I've been missing, and I think a lot of Sims 4 players have been missing for a very long time, because like it or not, The Sims 4 is a very shallow game. And again, I think that's why so many people just stick to building and decorating and creating Sims, because the gameplay is just lacking. It's not as shallow as it was when it was first released, but it's still very basic. So sort of getting into the future of the Sims franchise. Am I personally excited for Project Renee? Absolutely not. I don't care at all. I don't think it's going to come out anytime soon. And honestly, I don't trust some of the people who are involved in the project to create something that's actually good and innovative. Although I don't really like what I've seen so far from Project Renee, it's not really interesting to me. Does that mean I think Life by You and Paralives or whatever else are going to end the Sims franchise? No, I do not. I think The Sims has a very loyal and passionate fan base. I know that there are a lot of people who only play one video game, and that video game is The Sims. And I know that a lot of the current players who play The Sims 4 have only played The Sims 4. It's the only Sims they know, and these are the same players who are willing to spend hundreds of dollars on, again, 70 DLC. I think you have to be really damn loyal and passionate about a game to shell out that much. So yeah, even though they might say, oh, I already spent too much on The Sims 4, I'm not going to get The Sims 5, I think they're capping, and I think they will pay $40 or $50 to try out Project Renee, especially if it gets lots of hype and the aesthetics of the game are pleasing to them. By the way, if you think The Sims 4 is a dress-up simulator or a build simulator or design simulator, I think Project Renee is gonna be even more, because it has to appeal to that Sims 4 fanbase somehow. But yeah, this has been my Cornova rant. I don't think I'm frightened of Cornova.
We are frightened of Cornova.
I think I'm gonna be fine, but it came at the literal worst time. I just started a new job, but since I have to stay home, be on the lookout for some Sims 3 videos in the coming days. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.